Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me today. To begin, I would like to share a story that raised significant reflections in me. A new family enrolled twin brothers, Giorgio and Luca, who was both eager to commence year three together. However, their parents were informed that Giorgio would join the mainstream class, while Luca, who has mild cerebral palsy and dyslexia, would attend a separate support unit. This situation raised an important question to me. How do we articulate the visions for inclusions when our first actions is to divisions? Today, I will share my perspective on welcoming Luca into the mainstream classroom and closing the separated unit. In part one, our journey to inclusions, we all know that the Australia education system had progressed through three distinct phases: exclusions, integrations, and inclusions. Historically, students with disabilities were excluded from schooling or places in institutions based on deficient assumptions about their ability to learn. During the mid-20th century, separated school emerged under the medical models of disabilities, which located the problem within an individual child. Legislation such as the Disability Discrimination Act in 1992 and the Disability Standard for Education's DSE in 2005 advanced iterations by mandating access. However, iterations alone is just simply means sharing the same spaces, which does not support authentic inclusions. Our contemporary policies framework, including the UN Conventions on the Rights of People with Disabilities or the Alice Spring Education Standards, emphasize that students must be able to participate and learn on the same basis as their peers. Yet, as research highlights, there remains a persistent divide between policies' intentions and the classroom realities, and the assistance of our school support units, it reflects these ongoing gaps. Therefore, why change is needed. Closing a unit is not an act of discrimination. It is the step toward educational equity. From a human rights perspective, every student is entitled for a full participation in educations, share rations, aid discriminations, and reinforce stigma and the notions of otherness. In contrast, inclusive classroom recognize diversity as a strength and foster the sense of belonging. From a legal perspective, the DSE requires school to provide reasonable adjustments to ensure participations on the same basis, not excluding the student with disabilities. From a professional perspective, the field has shifted from the medical model, focusing on remediations, to the social model, which recognize that barriers exist within environments and systems. Therefore, our responsibilities as educators is to remove barriers that restrict participations, not to remove the learners. And moving on, an inclusive learning environment benefits all members of the school community. First of all, for Luca, inclusions provide access to a full curriculum, enhance academic engagements, and support emotional well-being by the sense of belonging and peer interactions. For his parent, inclusion brings reassurance that their child is valued and supported within the community, not isolated from it. Collaborative planning and consultants will empower them as equal partners in decision making. For his classmate, inclusive educations cultivates empathy, respect, and cooperations. When diversity is normalized, all students learn to value difference and support one another. And for teachers, educators, inclusive practice deepens professional role. Working with frameworks such as the Universal Design for Learning UDL, it strengthens our ability to meet diverse needs and foster teamwork across discipline. Moving on, to make inclusion effective, we need to understand Luca's learning profile. Mild cerebral palsy could affect fine motor coordinations and may cause fatigues, but it does not impact intelligence. Adjustments such as speech-to-text tool, flexible seating, and reduced handwriting demands can make tasks more accessible for him. Dyslexia, meanwhile, is a neurological difference in how the brain processes language. It affects decoding and reading fluency, but students with dyslexia often excels in creativity and problem-solving skill. Therefore, with explicit phonics instruction, visual support, and assistive technologies, this learner could thrive. Rather than defining Luca by his impairments, we recognize him as a capable student whose perspective enriched our classroom community. All right, moving on to part 5. Effective inclusions begin with identify barriers within the learning environments. These may be physical, such as fatigues from handwriting and restrictive classroom design, to cognitive, such as challenges with decoding and working memory load, or pedagogical, where uniform teaching practice overlook learners' variabilities. In short, overcoming barriers begin by recognizing that difference is expected and designing the classroom to accommodate it from the start. Overall, addressing these barriers require collaborations. We follow a team around the tribe approach, a system model which everyone share responsibilities for Luca's success. This team could include Luca himself, his parent, the classroom teachers, learning support staff, and allied health professionals such as occupational and speech therapists. Together, they create consistent strategies across home, classroom, and therapy setting, ensuring that adjustments are sustained and meaningful. Pedagogically, our framework, the UDL, which provide a proactive structure for differentiations, is how us design lessons that are flexible, equitable, and accessible for every learner from the outset. The 3 UDL principles guided this process. In terms of representations, we present information in multiple ways, such as visual support, audio books, and text-to-speak tools. For actions and expressions, we offer different ways for students to demonstrate their learning, such as through digital storytelling, oral presentations, or typing instead of handwriting. Lastly, engagement. We build motivations through student choices, collaborations, and connection to personal interest. Together, these strategies create a classroom where Luca can participate on the same basis as their peers, and where flexibility benefits all students, not just those with additional needs. However, parents may understandably question whether inclusions could disadvantage other students. These concerns should be addressed with empathy, evidence, and transparency. Research shows that inclusive classroom enhance learning from all students by improving collaborations, empathies, and engagements. Adjustments such as multimodal material, flexible seating, and assistive technologies benefit a wide range of learners. Through clear communications, observations of opportunities, and share reflections on student progress, teachers can build confidence and positive partnership with parents and families. In conclusion, closing a separate support unit is not merely a structural change, it is a moral and educational commitment. Belonging is not a privilege reserved for one, it's a fundamental right for all. By embracing inclusive practice, we affirm our school values of equity, dignity, and community. We create classroom where every learner, including Luca, can participate, achieve, and belong on the same basis as others. Thank you for listening.